I just appreciate the way you approach that, because the narrative is we saying, how do you punish a child? And you just gave us an answer to that. To understand what Mr. Ruffin is saying. He's saying it looked like you had a guide in there. Guys start educating you on the fact that you need to be educated on why you was having the experience that you was having. And then it seemed like some peer-to-peer stuff started happening. And then you start elevating yourself educationally. And now you're using the time that was probably meant for bad, you're using it for good now to help and better yourself, but then I'm pretty sure it was helping other people. So that character development program seemed like it really did you some. What are some other things that you got involved in too? Because I know you was pretty active when you was incarcerated. Tell us some of the other things you got involved in.
So one of the things I was seeing a lot of men coming back saying, hey, I couldn't find a job. So, I was like, why don't we just create our own job? So I started reading a lot of business books, entrepreneurial books, and taught a class. I ain't never ran a business in my entire life, but I taught a class on entrepreneurship. And this, I didn't know at the particular time, was really kind of setting me up real good on when I re-enter into society. So start teaching the entrepreneur class, and then finally, after 17 years in the prison system, I got accepted into the Braille program, where I learned how to Braille, transcribe for the blind, visually impaired, and I got my highest certification, which is NIMIT certification, which deal with mathematics and Braille. So after doing that what put me on the radar of the Governor's Mansion program, where at the Governor's Mansion, and current governor was Governor Nathan Deal, and he was real big on criminal reform at the time, but we worked at the Governor's Mansion, and we slept at the Atlanta Transitional Center. So first thing, when I met the governor and his wife, Mrs. Deal just gave me my first hug after 22 years, and I was on my 22 year here when I went to the Governor's Mansion. She gave me my first hug that I did, and that's when I realized you ain't been hugged in 22 years.
Wow. So
within that, they got involved with our reentry plan at the Governor's Mansion, and in 2016, August, I call it my new birthday, August the 23rd, this is when my release started happening. Not only being released, but starting my own company, my own Braille company, which is Authentic Braille Masters LLC, where we produce books for the blind and visually impaired. So here it is, I went from being youth, not really understanding where I'm at and what is happening to me, to gaining the understanding about about mental health, about overcoming my mental health, about overcoming my substance use disorder, to now being trained and being educated as the journey goes up, to now I'm being released, ready to put all this into practice.
Man, that's exciting, man. Mr. Ruffin, I just want to say this. First of all, my level of respect for you, because I get a chance to work close with you in a lot of reentry spaces. But to hear how you handled 24 years and how you didn't become the victim, because every time I hear you speak about mental health, overcoming substance abuse. So you dealt with the vices that you had. You overcame, and then from what I'm hearing, seemed like you started helping others on their journey. So, anytime is too much time in a criminal justice system. I appreciate the fact that you use that time to become the person that you are now, so it can help so many before you. So now I want to dig a little deeper, because you have given us a good snapshot of how you had to overcome obstacles being, but I believe somebody 19 years old, they aunt, somebody and told them, you need to look at this podcast. And I want you to talk to your 19-year-old self. And what would you say to that 19-year-old person? What are some of the goals? How would you address them?
Okay, thank you. Well, how I address my 19-year-old self, first of all, I would tell my 19-year-old self, it's okay. It's okay what you're feeling scared, feeling like you're not really understanding what you're going through, and really just listening. Allowing my 19-year-old self to really just tell me how he's feeling and what he's going through. And then within that, that just give me the understanding of what's going on with my 19-year-old self, and then really just letting them know that I care. I'm here to support whatever dreams that you're trying to go into and whatever goals you're trying to foster. Because I have this saying when I'm dealing with individuals, you must participate in your own rescue. You got to participate in your own rescue. And you have to help. And the thing about with my 19-year-old self and the other 19-year-olds out here that, they're just upset and they're just mad, right? And it's just with us just to listen to them. It ain't for me to solve the problem. It's to encourage and empower them to solve their own problem and to participate in solving the problem, right? Because I see too many of these programs that target the youth, but the one thing that they forget about is the youth. To include their messaging, but just really just understanding. So then when they gain that understanding, they'll realize that what I'm doing is wrong. Like I could share you with my grandson. My grandson, when he does something that I feel like he shouldn't be doing, the first thing that I do, I wanna really help him understand that what you done did is wrong. Too many times, and you can attest to this, that we come out of environments that, okay, we at low income areas, or it's okay to sell drugs, or it's okay to do this, right? Not understanding that, this is normal to us. This is the environment that we growed up in, and it's normal.
Right.
But where it's going to come where we have to just break it down and just really help the individual understand that that's not normal. That it's another way that you can do, but all they seeing on four sides of their life is that poverty, negativity, death. You see what I'm saying? All these things are affecting our young people to this day. And we have to get in there to help them process through a lot of this negativity and help navigate them through it, but doing it with them, not talking at them, but helping them understand the process and including them with the process, because it's just too many times that we are not including our young people in decisions. It's a lot of young people that are doing the correct thing, the right things out there. But of course, we live in a society that the news is going to report nothing but negativity. Right. So why that we can't get these youth, right, to understand? Because, man, I'm 48 years old. Right. I can, for me trying to relate to the youth, I'm 48, right? Right. I haven't been a youth, I can't even remember. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. But the thing about it is including these young people that are very powerful, they are doing a lot in the community to bring them in the decision makings. With helping with the youth and helping me talk with my 19-year-old self, because I can, my 19-year-old self and my 48-year-old self is two totally different people. Exactly. I can speak to him, but I still want somebody that he can relate to, right? And that's bringing this young individual in to help me talk to my 19-year-old self, right? Yeah. Getting help instead of me just saying, hey, I'm just here to solve your problems. No, it's going to be a community effort, and I think we have to put. We see the ancient African proverb, it takes a village to raise a child, right? We say this all the time, right? But we don't really understand what that means when it comes to individuals coming out the criminal justice system, being impacted, families being impacted, that it's going to take a whole community effort to help them.
Man, I love that, man. Man, that was a lot. And I just appreciate the way you approach that, because the narrative is we saying, how do you punish a child? And you just gave us an answer to that. We need more people participating in helping young people, if I'm saying it correctly, process where they at 19. And the adults that's in their life, we can't act like we 19. We need to stay in our adult position and then trying to put some positive youth around them to help them, teach them what they did to overcome and not go in the direction that they going in. So now it's like we're responsible for each one. You know, we used to say each one, reach one, teach one. You know, I think we really need to do that in a way that, you know, and man, I just appreciate you, brother. I appreciate all the work that you do out here. You know, from the Inside Out podcast, you know, we're not trying to get no national attention, but what we want to do is use real people that's doing real work in the community, using their life stories to educate and motivate. You know, we all learning stories. So, Mr. Ruffin, I just, as we get ready to sign out, man, I want to say I appreciate you. I appreciate the work you do. And he's being humble. He's being humble right now, because I'm going to go ahead and shine the light on him. He's did some things in the criminal justice system that most people didn't do. So he talked about being over at the governor's mansion, but he didn't say he came out and started working for the government, started helping them. So talk about that, man, because people need to know that, you know, you just didn't come out and say, well, I'm out, I'm good, I got my business, I'm doing Braille, I done started, you know, you say, hey, I'm going to dig deeper. So in a few minutes, just tell them some of the hurdles that you have been able, and some of the first time things that because of your passion of wanting to understand your mental health and your substance abuse, you know, how you have the opportunity to do what you do now.
Yeah, so the biggest thing to me is education. And what I did was, first, I wanted to offer curricular peer support. So I became a certified peer specialist in mental health as well as addictive disease. I went back to school. I graduated from Morehouse School of Medicine. I currently is at Mercer University now. And then I became a forensic peer mentor. And basically, a forensic peer mentor is an individual who have a criminal justice lived experience, that have lived experience with either substance use or mental health, and I have co-occurring. So what we do as a forensic peer mentor, we work in the prison systems, we work in the Department of Community Supervision, there's parole and probation, we work in accountability courts, mental health courts, anywhere where individuals been impacted by the criminal justice system. So I started my work with an organization with Georgia Mental Health Consumer Network as a forensic peer mentor, and my site was Metro Reentry Facility. This is where I work with men to help them transition. The interesting thing about the Forensic Peer Mentor Project is that we go in there full time with the individuals in the prison while they're returning back from 3 to 18 months. This individual would be returning back into the community that we work with. We help them get resources. We help them with their reentry plan and family unification, because we understand that a lot of men and women are returning back to communities that maybe not be safe for them at the time, or the families are dealing with a lot of trauma and dealing with, like say for instance, the mother had a 5-bedroom house prior to the return to citizen going in, to now they got to take care of the children. Now she got to go into a 1-bedroom. Wow. And you know, she might be feeling some kind of way about that. Then when they return back home, it might be some issues. So we there to help reunify. And the first thing I said, I did have a life sentence, and you know, and I was able to get my life sentence commuted, where got my sentence ended, where I voted for the first time, went out the country for the first time. And the one thing I definitely want to give just shout outs to keep me balanced is my wife, right? Being married helped me kind of be stable.
Great. All right. Sound good. Sound good. Well, we signing off, man, from the Inside Out podcast where I'm your host, Greg Washington. Man, I'm so excited, man. This has been a great honor to be having you on the show, and we blessed by you, man. Keep up the good work. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
If you like this content, please like and subscribe.